Okay, well, good morning, guys. Welcome to the first ever episode edition of What's the Hype? How you guys doing this morning?
I'm good. It's cool.
Good.
Crisp day.
Yeah,
Feeling good about it.
beautiful day. Adam, how are you?
58
Doing great
this morning.
Beautiful. Looks like a little bit rain coming in this afternoon, so day to catch up on everything after the 4th of July, maybe.
Yeah. Feels like a fall football morning this morning. So, anyway, we're going to kind of talk about why we're doing a podcast, what we're going to talk about. We're going to kind of jump around and cover a lot of different areas. And the main reasons we're doing a podcast is, first of all, why not a podcast? I know many people listen to podcasts nowadays, and we wanted an interactive way to get club information to the members. You have newsletters, you have emails, you have different things we send out, push notifications, all the things on social media, but why not a podcast? This is something we want you to listen to when you're mowing your yard, when you're running kids from activity to activity, maybe working out in the morning, or if you're at the driving range and you need something to listen to, pop on our podcast, What's the Hype? You'll be hearing from us frequently. This will be probably twice a month, maybe 3 times a month, depending on activity throughout the year. But we hope you tune in. We're going to dive right in today. We're going to kind of do a overall club operations report. We're halfway through summer. It's been a busy year. We're going to talk to Adam on the golf shop and the bag room, kind of their operations down there, and then transfer to Jim, talk about his team this year, different things they've been doing, talk about green speed. Then we're going to briefly touch on the land sale. There's been some developments there. We just sent out a communication last week on that, so hopefully you all received that. We're going to touch on that. And then we're going to do a little recap on July 4th and what a great weekend that was. So, I'm going to turn over to Adam. Adam, you guys have been through, we're now mid-July now, and through a lot of big events, still have some big events to come. But can you kind of talk about your operation, maybe touch on some bigger events, maybe the Invitational, the couples events, the holiday events, and we'll touch on, some different things you're doing in your bag room, when it comes to service and additional staffing and different things like that, and maybe some things to look ahead as we continue with the golf season.
Yeah. Like you said, it's kind of like, holy cow, we blink and it's already through the July 4th, and
it's gone fast.
It's moving quick. Like Evan said, we had a highly successful men's invitational on Father's Day weekend. We had 54 member guest teams, which is our limit. It's a busy 3 days of golf for those people playing. We just kind of run around and help them get going. So they had Thursday was a practice round, 18 holes, and then we had our horse race that night, which is a lot of fun. I believe the DeBurs won the horse race that night.
They did.
So congrats to them on that. And then Friday you start your matches with 3 9-hole matches, your gift pickup, your short game contest that night. And then Saturday you have your final 2 matches and your championship shootout, which the final 2 teams was Matt Parmeter and his guest AJ Deal, and then Brian Fiala and his guest Tim Albert. Fantastic shootout. Mr. Albert made a knee shaker 6-footer at the end to win it overall for Fiala and Albert, which was fun to watch, and it's fun for those guys to get into that environment and test their golf game a little bit, and it's fun for us to watch it. I know our good friends at TH Media had the drone going. We had a live shot of the final hole.
Live stream
of the final hole on YouTube. Gotten some great comments about that from members. They thought it was kind of neat to be able to turn that on and watch it from their house. We'll kind of do some more things with that next year. But yeah, the men's invitational was fantastic. Great weather, and everything was great there. I've heard nothing but great comments on the food that night, which I will take credit for, even though I didn't do any of the cooking. It feels about right for something for me to do that. So the invitational was great. All of our events so far up through the 4th of July have been filling up. They've been full. The 4th of July couples, we had 96 players in that. We've never really gone above 80, 84. So to see 96 couples, and it appeared like everybody had fun and there's no fighting and all that. So, and then we hit 104 for the 4th of July. It's been 5 or 6 years since we've been over 100 in one of the holiday events, so I expect that to keep going.
And we renamed that, right?
We did rename it the General Stars and Stripes event. the general came out. He's going to take ownership of that event. Even though the dew point was a little high, he still came out and played, which was nice. The dew point today is pretty perfect on that
nice.
matter. But yeah, general was there. We had some good conversation. You know, he's dedicated a large part of his life to serving our country, and that's fantastic. And I can't thank him enough for everything he's done for our country and for Hyperion, for that matter. So, but yeah, events have been great. Golf course usage. We open March 24th, and we're over. I don't have the June numbers yet, and probably ought to go look at that. But through May, we were over 8,200 rounds. To kind of give you some comparison, COVID year, what was that, 2020? We were at 8,500 or 8,600 rounds. So we're tracking right in line with one of our busier years since I've been here. And in the COVID year, 2020, we opened March 8th. So we had 3 weeks of extra rounds to be played that year. So we're busy. I'm sure many members have mentioned that tee sheets are filling up right at 8 on just about every day. And I think on Father's Day, the email I got the night before, we had 310 people on the tee sheet.
Wow, that's incredible.
I mean, I think we ended up with 285, but to see a number over 300 on a golf course with tee times running from 6:30 to 6:45 that's a lot of people. And to that end, we've got a great bag outside service crew this year. Excuse me. Some really good kids, a lot of Johnston kids. You may have noticed we've kind of changed things up. We got a kid sitting down there on 18. Hopefully getting your clubs a quick scrub before you finish the hole and get you up to the parking lot, so we can kind of avoid running in the traffic in the parking lot. Hopefully we've been staffed up quite a bit in order to try and help those 300 people that are on the tee sheets every day. And it's just working hard. And I know there's been past couple Wednesdays we're running out of carts, probably about that 1 o'clock range, and let's get the carts in. Let's start turning them, get them back out to the other members, and it's just been full goal, and we got a great crew inside.
Talk a little about that. I know Tommy, he's new to our team this year, as well as Sarah. Maybe just touch on what they brought to the team. I know Sarah with their programming and Tommy with his expertise, but yeah, if you could just talk a little bit about them and for the people that haven't met them yet.
Yeah, we got lucky. We snagged a couple great hires to go along with a couple great hires from last year, and Will and Charnay. With Sarah Bidney, who's our PGA Director of Instruction. You've probably seen her out here with a bunch of juniors and adults doing a couple different things of programming. And what we're meaning by programming is clinics and Op 36 and all the other events that she's kind of running that are mostly on the range and a little bit on the golf course. She's been extremely successful with Op 36, and that's we're trying to shoot par or 36 on 9 holes from certain yardages. So you start at 25. The minute you shoot 36 or better from 25 yards out on every hole, then we move you back to 50, and then it gets to 100, and then that's where it gets pretty hard for a lot of people, myself included, is to shoot par from 100 yards and in.
Don't ask me to compete in that.
I was just going to say, Jim, where are you at on that?
Yeah, I could probably use a lot of Sarah's help and walk out there with the little kids.
And it's been great seeing all those kids, and then you get a bag tag, and you get lessons in green reading, and you get stickers, and you keep advancing, and it's a great way. And there's even a phone app now, because everybody's got to have the phone app and got to have the technology.
There's like adults and not just kids doing this.
There's adults. We got a lot of ladies doing it, some men. It's a great way to sit here and think as a PGA professional. Up until about 20 years ago, we were teaching. I don't want to say we were teaching the game all wrong, but you got to start from the green and work your way back. Yeah. It makes the most amount of sense. So if you're a beginner, or heck, even if you're a guy like me, you can benefit from doing something like that so much. It's just crazy to think about.
It's got to take away some of like the intimidation factor, I would think. People that are new to the game, to take on the course, from tee to green, at a full 6,000-7,000 yards is a whole other animal versus, from
breaking it down in chunks
from 50 in.
Yep.
That's where the bulk of the play happens, and a lot of your etiquette is occurring there too. So
Yep, you were
That's-
100% correct, and that's
awesome to see.
great. And Sarah's cruising, and I know when we hired her, I didn't, not to say she's not fantastic because she is, but I didn't expect her to be as busy as she's been. And that's a kudos to her membership and a kudos to her and her name recognition factor. She's been full just about the minute she stepped on foot on property, so that's fantastic. And then, of course, you got Tommy, little Tommy. He's a little go-getter.
He can play golf, that's for
He
sure.
can play golf. He's done a fantastic job. He's such a good kid. He's running all our holiday couples events. He's helping Sarah out with junior golf. He's doing a lot of playing in events in the section level. Great player. I think he played at South Dakota. So what are they, the Coyotes? Maybe we ought to get some Coyote stuff in the shop for him. I don't know. But, yeah, he's done a fantastic job. Will and Charnay are doing great as well. I mean, you sit there and think you're doing 280 rounds a day. It's just like you kind of get run over every once in a while, and having all those people here is making our job easier because it's not just rounds of golf. There's club repair, there's gripping, you're selling merchandise, you're club fitting. You got all these little things that add up, and it takes some time away from the shop and of course, rangering and making sure everybody's having a good time. It gets tough, and it's not as easy as we think sometimes, but those guys are doing a fantastic job, and they're making my life easier, which is always good.
Yeah, you've got a great team down there, Adam. And I know one thing with Sarah, the comments that I've received and the board's received on her programming and what she's brought to the table, and people I never thought would take lessons. That's their words, not mine. Now they're taking lessons once a week with Sarah. So you've got a great team, and you guys have done a really nice job so far this year. And kind of talk a little bit on what's to come this year with events, maybe merchandise, what to look for. I know member is a big thing for our men's golf. Maybe touch on the sign up so people know when to sign up.
We're going to keep that a secret. I'm just kidding. So we got some big events left to come up this year. You got our Ladies Chariot, which is our prime jewel ladies member guest event. That's at the end of July here. I think it's the 27th, 28th. We're currently still taking sign-ups. We're almost to the 80-person limit that is set for that event. So if you're still thinking about it, go ahead and jump on in. We've made some exciting changes to that event this year. We've changed the format up to a 4-person team, kind of doing 3 different formats over 2 days. We got I believe it's a day in the fairway is the theme this year, and we're going to do some fair food, have some fair prizes, and maybe a couple other cool fair surprise deals in there for you. Don't want to ruin too much in case anybody hears this before the Chariot. We want to leave some surprises in there for you and make you happy that way. So that's Ladies Chariot. August, golly, that's championship month for a reason. We got the husband-wife championship. We got the club championship. So the husband-wife championship is that first Sunday in August. Club championship is the third weekend, as it always has been. Ladies, sign up for that. I think last I saw there's only 4 ladies in there. The club champions get those special parking spots that I use every once in a while when I know they're not going to show up. But like swim meet nights, those are some prime spots to have. So that's the third weekend in August. Seafood Stag, I think, is just in front of the club championship. Great way to bring 3 guys out. Like we always say, that one's not so much about the golf as it is about the food. I know they got a fantastic menu for that. Another deal to think about in August is the member sign up. Men's member is September 15th and 16th. The sign up for that event goes live on Thursday, August 11th at 8 a.m.
Say that again, Adam, just so everybody knows.
August 11th, 8 a.m. It's a Thursday morning. There should be nothing really too exciting going on other than that sign up. I know last year I think it took 2 minutes to fill up. We're capped at 64 teams. And there's a couple teams that get in based on their performance from last year, so I think those guys are already in there. But August 11th, 8 a.m., sign up for member. That's a 2-person team. You must have your partner picked out, must get both names into that field in order to be eligible. Last year filled up in like 2 minutes, so be on the ball, be ready to go. That is probably our biggest event of the year. 15th and 16th, it's team quota, and then that shootout is alternate shot, and it's always fun to watch partners get in an argument after one hits a bad shot and an alternate shot. So that's always something we look forward to. And hopefully the weather's a little better than what it was last year. I know it was an exciting time last year. We got it all in, but it made things a little more interesting than it needed to be. But I mean, that is a fun event. It's so much fun to work that event because everybody playing. It makes everything golf a little bit more exciting when you can drive around and joke around with some people. And Jim's got the greens rolling at 13. And of course, the pro always sets one or two dumb hole locations out there, and
we always share the blame. So Adam has the deniability of, well, I didn't know he was going to get the greens that fast, and then Adam placed the hole location, so we get to share the blame on those. Yeah,
and it's 7, 18, 13, get a little tougher to find some holes out there, but there may not be a $1 or $2 exchange from the pro shop watching people putt on 18 every once in a while. Do I think Jeff Lee's going to get this down into? I don't know. Let's put some action on it. So if you ever see us up there in the pro shop staring out the window, that's might be what we're doing. I'm not sure. So, but yeah, remember August 11th, 8 a.m. Sign up. We'd love to have everybody out there. I know we got I've already seen the belts. The belts are here. I think the robes are on the way. I got to keep that tradition alive. So we'll keep rolling with that.
Championship
belts. See who gets them this year. I know Short Chris Elia, and Terry Bricker probably want to hold on to them again for another year, but we'll see if they can manage that.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Adam. That's a good recap on what's been going on in the golf shop and kind of what's ahead. And like I said, you guys have done a great job this year. And just from a round standpoint, trying to manage all that. We have increased staffing levels, but even then, it's you have 290, 280, 300. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's substantial, and it takes a lot of people to be able to provide service that the members expect. So appreciate everything that you guys have done so far this year, and
thank you.
Look forward to best time of year is fall golf, and that's right around the corner.
It is. It's coming up quick.
All right, Jim, why don't we throw it over to you? Why don't you first kind of talk about your team this year? I know you've added some new faces, and maybe walk us through who they are, what they've been doing, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, no, it has been a great year for our team. Of course, you've got some stalwarts that have been with us for 20 years plus, and Chuck Schweikert, and some of the seasonal staff has been here as well for 20 plus years, coming back year after year. So it's great to have that continuity. You think about Chuck and all the experience he has, his work ethic and all that sort of stuff. He's well qualified. He could go on to be a superintendent of a myriad of different courses here in Iowa. And the fact that he chooses to continue to work with us here at Hyperion, we're just blessed to have his knowledge, skill set, leadership, all those sorts of things. So great to have him on staff. And of course, Wes Mathis, our mechanic. He keeps the wheels turning, keeps the fountain running. You just never know where you'll find Wes. Sometimes he's helping out with the irrigation system, and just last week we were working with the
pool pump,
the swimming pool. Yeah, so we do what we can to make sure everybody's enjoying that Hyperion experience that they expect, and if that means helping out in other areas, we jump in and do it. Got a couple new faces. We've really been fortunate to see a number of our assistant superintendents go on to be superintendents at other courses, which is great to see that growth in them, and they move on. And now we got a couple of new faces in Jackson Nelson. He's a recent grad of Iowa State with forestry background. He's worked for the Park Service, Department of Natural Resources, that sort of stuff. So he brings a lot of great knowledge just of natural resource management, especially trees, with his forestry background that we've been able to tap into this year. Great attention to detail with Jackson, and he cut all the cups during the Invitational, and he's a golfer. I mean, he gets it, and it's really been fun to kind of watch him grow in his role and see how like all the different things that he does kind of impacts how the course plays, whether it's tee placement, hole location, the things that we're doing with the greens to get the speeds up, and then how he needs to adjust with his hole cutting. It's been fun to watch his development already. Spencer Sherrick, another young face from, I believe, down in Sheridan area. Spencer's also a graduate of Iowa State. He's got a turf degree in the horticulture department. Brought a lot of experience with landscaping and lawn care, and he's accustomed to applying the fertilizers and plant protection products that we use. So another young man with great experience. And both guys have fit in really well with the culture of the shop, which is it's a tough job. We like to have fun. We try to keep it light, but in the morning when we got a course to prep, we're all business. But they've really kind of joined the team and fit in really well of kind of the culture we have down there. And sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's tough. But I guess I'm most proud of our guys is the good attitudes that they bring every day, and just how they take care of one another. They see one of their cohorts struggling with something, or maybe they're following behind or something like that. They're great at just helping each other out, and they take a lot of pride in Hyperion and the experience that you all enjoy out there. Obviously, they take pride in the greens and the bunkers and all the facilities, but just in how they treat one another, and especially how they treat the members, being courteous and stopping and saying hi and talking. There's some bit of a language barrier there. Even Miguel, though, he'll stop and smile and say hello, and you may exchange some words with him that he doesn't understand, but he understands his role, even though he has limited English speaking ability. Like, he gets it just as much, if not more, than the rest of the guys. So great to have him. We've got a bigger staff, than we've had in the past. You talk about all these rounds that we're doing, and we've made a number of adjustments to kind of accommodate that number of rounds, and one of which is just increasing our staff a little bit, being able to crank out more of our needed chores faster, earlier in the morning. Allows us to open the tee sheet a little bit more. For instance, the Saturdays and Sundays, 6:30 a.m. We hit our max membership. What was it, like 4:30 we're at?
4:30.
And so that's kind of a conversation Adam and I had last year. Like, man, the last thing we want to do when we've got this just surge of enthusiasm for golf and the membership's grown, we want to get people out there if at all possible.
I think you just really wanted me to get out of bed at 5:30.
Right, there you go.
Just to show me what it's like for you.
Yeah, we're going to be here either way. But no, it's a bit of a challenge for us, on the weekends. We start at 5:30, so that gives us an hour ahead of that first group. As long as everything goes right, then it's typically not a problem. We just don't have a lot of margin for error. Like, for instance, the other weekend, there was a little bit of an incident with our roller, and it was broken, so it was down, and there just wasn't enough time to get the greens rolled that day. So those are kind of the trade-offs that you have. But
how long do you think we'll have those 6:30 tee times? I know we've hit summer solstice a couple weeks ago, and when do you see us starting to move back times with daylight?
Typically we're between 4 and 6 weeks either side of that solstice.
I think in August they go back to 6:45 through a little bit of August, and then I think they go back to 7 at the end of August.
Yeah, so spring, it kind of coincides with our frost delays.
Sure.
And in the fall we don't have that quite as much of the concern on the backside of that solstice. But the longer the days, right now it's already light out at 5:30.
Oh yeah.
But, by late August, we won't see daylight until 6 o'clock. And, we know the demand is still there to play golf.
Sure.
But at some point there's a trade-off, like if there's a ball mark or a quarter left on a green or maybe a stick. And despite the fact that we have headlights on our machines, sometimes the guys won't see something like that, and they'll drag it across the green and leave kind of a gouge. Plus, then it's the safety of our operators out there, right? So we try to balance what's safe and really, really feasible for providing good playing conditions and minimizing the
bottom
risk.
line is you have to maintain the course, and
Yeah.
we want to start tee times as early as we can, but you guys have to have time to do what needs to be done, and especially the weekends, which is your 2 biggest days. Those are shorter days for you guys, and just got to get the course ready. So why don't you touch on a little bit, with an increased staff, I know you guys have been able to tackle some additional projects that in years past that we really haven't had time to get to, and why don't you just touch on that? And I'm sure members have seen a lot of them, but I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so it's great to have the people that we have here. It's a young man also named Jackson. Brinker is his last name. Grew up in Polk City.
He's a wrestler.
Yeah, he's a mountain.
Yeah, he's a big man. You
He's
got to get out of his way when he comes through the lunch line.
Yeah, he's a big dude. But he's got some landscaping experience as well as Spencer, and obviously Chuck's got a lot of experience. So we've tried to, tackle some of the uglies, is what I call them. We're always trying to improve, and one of the things that I was always taught was take some of your worst or your least aesthetically pleasing features and then flip those and make them your best, and that's how you just kind of always achieve continual improvement. So a couple of those areas that we just kind of always struggle with having them look nice is just a little bit of some odds and ends corners at the pool where we just struggle to grow grass for whatever reason. Come to find out, there's like construction debris under the soil, so it's no wonder we couldn't grow grass.
Who knew?
There. Chunks of concrete and rocks, difficult to grow grass. But yeah, so we landscape some of those areas in and around the pool. We're not growing any grass. Let's put some hibiscus and some pop color, that sort of stuff. As well as the tennis court area, we ripped out the ugly old railroad ties and junipers, and it was just kind of a weed patch.
Didn't look very good.
And it had been on my list for a really long time, and we've slowly picked away at that list of we don't have like the very best first impression, like from the moment you enter the club to the time you get on the golf course. Like the golf course is a crown jewel, but you kind of pass by a couple ugly areas before you get there, whether that's the fence around the tunnel that we did a couple years ago to now the tennis court, trying to make, from the time that you enter the club to the time you hit the first tee, more of a reflection of what you're going to see when you get out there. And Adam's staff doing a nice job of greeting everyone and getting them set up with what they need. It's all about, first impressions, good service, and we know the tennis courts could, maybe use a little upgrade in the future. So my thought was to take out all the ugly stuff over there at tennis, and maybe plant some trees, provide some new rock and that sort of stuff without spending a lot of our dollars, but yet make it look a lot better. And then if who knows what the future holds for tennis, but if we need to get back through there, at least we haven't spent a bunch of money and added a lot of plants. So there's a big opportunity to add stuff there, but we'll kind of hold off for now until
the future of tennis is still unknown. As members are aware, we did the survey, and tennis did come back a little bit lower, but we have seen tennis. Some members have kind of taken it upon themselves to use the tennis courts this year with ladies tennis and then men's tennis. Junior program has nearly 100 kids in it, so it really was a nice refresh over there when you walk over to tennis courts and it doesn't, don't have railroad ties sticking out this way and that way and weeds overgrown. So that was really nice for you guys to do that. So why don't we kind of finish with you, Jim, just on green speed. I know green speed's always a topic, whether that's in the sports bar or on 18 green when you 4-putt. Why don't you just kind of touch on our aeration? We've changed up. This is our second year. We've been doing that.
Yep.
Talk about maybe, what is 300 people playing golf, over a weekend each day? How does that relate to turf quality, and turf health, and that all ties into green speed. So yeah, I'd be anxious to hear what you have to say on that.
Yeah, we could go. I mean, we could have a whole series of podcasts on this alone. I think better than to ask me something like relating to turf that I'm really, really passionate about. I can go on forever. We'll try not to do that.
How long is this supposed to last?
Well, as long as we want to go.
But yeah, anyhow, So what have we done? The last 2 years, we have done a double aeration in May. Historically, we would do like a deep tine in April, and we'd fill those holes with the brushes with sand with using our brushes, and then we'd come back in September and we'd pull a core and do the same process, fill those holes up with sand. The idea is because the grass is continually growing and there's old shoots, leaves, roots senescing or dying off, and that eventually produces organic matter or thatch. So we're constantly manipulating that root zone to have the smoothness that you all want, the green speed that you all want, as well as having adequate pore space for water and air exchange for our roots. So those are kind of the reasons that we have to do that aeration. So if you didn't, over time they'd get really, really soft, really squishy, spongy, scalpy. When we'd mow, if we want to mow as low as we do to try to get the green speed that we want, we got to have a firm surface. So I had talked to some different colleagues who had done a double aeration in the past, and I was a little bit hesitant or doubtful or whatever, but having talked to different people who had done it successfully, we decided to give it a try, and glad that we did. Annie's trying to say hi to somebody. Yeah.
I'd say from a golf pro standpoint, it's worked out well. Instead of having 2 weeks of shutdown or bad greens, it's 2 weeks just in May instead of 4 overall. So
yeah,
we enjoy it.
I think it's been well received by the membership. I haven't heard anybody complain about doing it once or at one time versus twice. And my thought was, September is the most beautiful month in Iowa to play golf. Just weather-wise, it's just so nice with the cool, crisp mornings. But, yeah, you got that nice afternoon sun and some warmth. And the overnight temperatures, dew points, all those things are really, really conducive to firm, fast turf conditions. Mm-hmm. So it's like, in my mind, why don't we switch and aerate in May? And so people don't understand is I can do the same exact things in May and June and get a 10-foot reading on the stimp meter. And if I take those two same things and do them in September or October, I might get a 13. And that's the plant's physiology. Oftentimes we say, well, the plant's trying to do this. Well, no, it's not trying. It's not thinking, right? But it is responding physiologically to the stimuli that's in the environment. In the fall, typically those plants are sensing the shorter days and the cooler nights, cooler temperatures, and they start to harden off and get ready for winter. So why not move the aeration to a time where we always struggle to get green speed? The grass just grows so fast that we have a hard time getting green speed. And, oh, by the way, when it's growing that fast, it's going to heal up a lot more quickly. Mm-hmm. So that's why we've moved it to May. I know we're just finally getting those nice days. But either way, we're just going to struggle to get the greens where we want them to in May and June. I went to a talk, I forget the gentleman's name, the superintendent up there at Whistling Straits, and he talked about their green speed. He may have had to do 5 times the amount of mows and rolls for a PGA Championship, which is obviously a summer event, versus a Ryder Cup, which is a fall event. Yeah, it's amazing just how the climate, weather, and then the plant's response to that at different times of the year impact how the course plays. So if you don't believe me, start looking at the overnight temps. Yeah. Start looking at that dew point.
Yeah, humidity and
it'll take off. Yeah, we'll have to be careful or we'll get the greens too fast that time of year. So,
all right.
Yeah, I could go on and on.
I know you could. I've heard you before, and I think it's good for our listeners to hear it from the expert when you talk green speed, and it's not just how low you mow the green, the height of the grass. There's so many factors that go into it, and that's why we're so blessed to have Jim, as our superintendent, and all the knowledge he's gained over the years through the different experiences he's had. So, Jim, great job so far this year, you and your team. I mean, I heard comments, during the men's invitational, and that's the best. And these people have been coming here year after year after year with their current member, their partner, and they just said how great the golf course is, and they've never seen it this good. So that's a credit to to you and your team, and you guys are here early. Sometimes you're here late. You know, we talked about, he mentioned the pool. It was July 3rd. Our pump for the slide and the mushroom at the pool.
Water slide, yeah.
Water slide. Literally burned up. And fortunately, we had Jim and his mechanic, Wes. They'd been here all day. They'd been here the whole day. And they were able to get a temporary solution so that we could have the water slide and the mushroom, you know, functioning for the 4th. And I can't thank you enough. I know Sherry can't thank you enough. And that just shows, you know, like with Adam, you know, we're all a team here. And, you know, when other areas or other departments need help, you know, people drop what they're doing and go, you know, make it happen. So the members don't notice, kind of on the front of house side of things. So we'll transition here. I know we've been going for about 35 minutes, and we're going to try to keep these shorter, but this one's going a little bit longer, which is fine. But many of you might have saw the communication we sent out regarding the land sale. It's an exciting time for Hyperion as we're expected to close later this month. We were fortunate to partner with Denton Homes. They're an executive home builder here in the Des Moines Metro. This has been about a 2.5-year process trying to get that 30 acres that is north and east of the driving range sold and to a developer, and we're almost there. So make sure you check out that communication. It's got a lot of details on what you're going to see as we move forward. And to sum it all up, you know, there will be work once closing is complete. The Dentons will retain that property. Their goal is to create a 27-lot executive golf community. This will be very nice homes, very big lots. There'll be a lot of work that needs to be done to get back to that area, and that's what they'll be focusing on the rest of the year. Myself, Jim, and Adam, along with Larry Sidwell, our club president, and the board are heavily involved in everything that's going on back there. And one thing I really want to mention, we mentioned it in the communication, is accessibility and functionality of the range is of the highest priority to both Hyperion and to the Dentons as we begin this adventure with them. You will be able to get back to the range. There might be a time here come next month that the west end shuts down and we move everything to the east end for the remainder of the year. But that'll all be communicated. And again, if you have any questions, we did put in our communication. There's an email we set up. It's landsale@hyperionfc.com. If you have any questions, you can send us a note, and myself or Larry will get back to you quickly. So again, it's an exciting time for Hyperion. The long-term effects are really, you couldn't even ask for a better deal. It's an annuity. Everybody that buys a lot has to be a member of Hyperion. It's just fantastic all around. So check out that communication. That's got all the fine print on what I'm talking about. To wrap things up, just wanted to do a little recap of July 4th. July 4th was the biggest day. I've been here. This is my 11th season, and this was our biggest July 4th on record, both from an attendance-wise, club usage-wise, as well as revenue. So we had over 750 people through the pool. At one point, I looked down at the pool, and I was kind of wondering, do we need to stop letting people in? So it was a fantastic day at the pool. I know Adam and the golf staff had the morning event, General Stars and Stripes. We had over 100, as he mentioned. And just a couple highlights from that. Sherry, you all know Sherry. We can't thank Sherry enough for what she does for Hyperion, and especially the 4th of July. She really makes the 4th of July with the Family Olympics and all the different activities she does for the members. And the champions of Family Olympics this year was the Kramer family. That's JP and Kara. So congratulations to them. They did an outstanding job bringing home the Family Olympics championship. So again, thank you so much to Sherry for what she does for Hyperion and for the 4th to make it what it is. We wouldn't be where we are now without Sherry and all the things she does at the pool. So with that, I think that's all I got, guys. I know we've been going for a while, but this is the first episode of What's the Hype. We're excited to continue this journey with podcasting. Hopefully you guys have had patience and maybe a little fun listening to us. Do you guys have anything else you want to add before we sign off on this beautiful Friday morning?
I just honored to be one of the first on the What's the Hype podcast, so I can finally say I was first at something, which has been a while.
Yeah, there you go. And I'd echo what Evan says, not just with Sherry. I mean, obviously Sherry's just an awesome individual, and she takes so much pride in the pool and the experience that people enjoy at that pool. The ownership that she has. I mean, if we have a thunderstorm, she'll come out at midnight, 2 in the morning, to make sure that it's ready for the members. And I guarantee you that almost none of them know that. And to have an individual that's that dedicated, like, you don't find that every day. So anything that me and my staff can do to help her, you know, make that thing go, make it better, you know, we try to do it. I mean, she takes more pride in that pool than I do in the golf course.
I know.
I'm
It's
fairly
it's
certain
her
of it.
classroom.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got a great team of people that are so passionate, and so we help each other out because we just know how much we care about all the different, you know, facilities and experiences y'all get. So
Sure.
I can
Very
go
well
on
said.
for another few hours about green speed if you need
We'll
me
save
to.
that for episode 2 or 3.
All right.
We'll see where we end up. Thanks, everybody.
Maybe we can bring in some guest commenters and
There we go.
have
That
a
now
little back and
that'd
forth.
get a lot of views.
Yeah. There we go.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody. We'll
That
see you
was
next
fun.
time.